Right. So the first one we have is, given your extensive experience with startups and investment strategies, what are your thoughts on the venture studio model? In particular, how do you see this model evolving with the startup ecosystem? Or are there specific verticals where it's been impactful?
Yeah, so you can actually go to AirChat, just get airchat.com. I did a whole thing on venture studios. I did like a 20-minute talk on venture studios. And I did it because an entrepreneur came to me with the venture studio. I was like, let me just put this to bed once and for all. So there's venture studios and there's accelerators, and they've diverged. There's accelerators like Y Combinator, where it's a standardized program. They take 6 or 7%. They give you a bunch of cash. I think it's $500K now. And you go through a process, but you are your own company. It's your own idea, and you're meant to go do your own thing. I think those models can work. They are significant accelerators, especially for people who are coming from out of market or teams that are still forming or they don't know exactly what they're working on. So it has actually replaced a lot of the angel mentorship that used to happen at that level. Now, venture studios is a different thing. Venture studios in particular means like there's someone sitting at the top who has an idea, and then they have some capital, and you kind of work in their venture studio, and then when they have the right idea with the right capital, they try out a few things, and then they spin it out, and somebody else takes over. They own 20, 30, 40, 50%. They put in the capital, the idea, and there's a team working on it. The history of venture studios is not good. They're generally a fail. And there are a few tiny success cases. There's a company called Overture that came out of Idea Lab. You could argue Uber came out of a venture studio. I don't think it really did if you look closely underneath the covers. And then there's companies like Hims, which are they like sell various simple prescription medical products online. I don't think these are huge successes in the first place. And venture studios assume that the limiting thing is the idea, and then it's the capital. But that's not true. Try the following phrase on. Paul McKellar put this on Twitter a long time back, and I loved it, and I expanded on it. So full credit to him. But he said, "I have a great idea for a novel. Does somebody want to write it? I have a great idea for a movie. Does somebody want to make it? I have a great idea for a TV series. Do you want to go do it? I have a great idea for a painting, a great painting. Do you want to go paint it?" No, obviously that's not how creative acts work. I have a great idea for a scientific breakthrough. I need some physicists to work on it. It doesn't work like that. You have to create the thing yourself. The thing that is scarce is the entrepreneur. So the people who are saying, I have a great idea for an app or a great idea for a startup, but somebody else should build it and I'll provide the capital and the idea is not the scarcity. Every idea that you can think of has pretty much been thought of before. It's the details in the execution. It's wandering through the maze of potential ideas, figuring out dead end, I built this, that didn't work, turn right, build this, didn't work. That's the hard part. It's wandering through that maze with conviction, with passion, with knowledge. That's the hard thing. So the scarcity is actually entrepreneurs who are obsessed with an idea and a space and have knowledge of it. The scarcity is not in the idea. It's actually not in the capital. Infinite capital will show up for the right person with the right idea. There's a lot of checks out there, a lot of people waving checkbooks. So I don't think venture studio adds anything. And so because the best entrepreneurs know that, venture studios tend to attract a second-class entrepreneur. There are exceptions. So Max Levchin, who started Affirm and before that was one of the founders of PayPal, he ran some successful venture studios. But in every case, he was looking for a product and a company that he himself would build and run. And so the success stories that came out of those were Yelp and Affirm. But I would argue those venture studios were just Max sitting there grinding every day with his team, trying to find the thing that he wanted to do next. And Yelp did have an independent CEO who's very good, Jeremy Stoppelman, and kind of got built up, but Max was on that from day one. And even when he was building that, his first spin out from that studio was called Slide, which he ran, which failed. And so he even called it wrong. He was sitting there planning to run the company, and he couldn't even tell what was going to work. And then he kind of came back and became chairman of Yelp, and Jeremy ran it, and they successfully built it into a great company. And then he did it again with Affirm, but notice that he was the one who kept looking to run the company afterwards. He did not try to farm it out to somebody else.